never known a girl like you before. Hey, hello. Welcome to the Indentured Longsnapper. I'm Dr. Ron here as usual. Snapper's sleeping off a hangover, I believe. But this is the introduction for part 2 of Why is Dentistry So Expensive? Right? I'm in this little series explaining to you why dental fees are where they are. And I will agree with you. They're not inexpensive. Now, keeping in mind that we're making body parts for you, people tend to minimize teeth in comparison to hearts and livers and everything else that can be replaced. I mean, as I've mentioned before, I have 3 stainless steel joints in me. I've never really looked up what the hardware for a knee or a hip is, but I'm sure it's not inexpensive. But you know what those guys get paid to replace a hip or replace a knee, and a lot of times they're doing 3 or 4 of them in one day. So I don't want to minimize. I'm not saying, hey, you guys are totally off board here complaining about dental fees. But with the costs involved with being a dentist, and some of the things in addition to what I've already mentioned, the insurances we have to pay to ward off attorneys and things like that like to get involved in our worlds at the slightest provocation. All the requirements for sterilization and just overall cleanliness of the office and, air cleaning systems and all this other stuff that has arisen since the wonderful pandemic we had, what is it now, 6 years ago. All those costs cost dentists money to keep you safe. Everything is sterilized. Everything is new. We can't be using instruments that are defective. So there's constant replacement on all this stuff. And I got to tell you, nothing made for dentistry is cheap. My favorite item in that ballpark are, the little wooden sticks that we use when we put your crown in, and we put a little wooden stick in there and you bite on it to help seat the crown down where it's supposed to be. All right. A little box of those. They're I think they're beechwood. Now, do they have to be beechwood? I don't know. They've been beechwood since I've been a dentist. I'm using the same bite sticks I used in dental school. But they are now $50 a box for little pieces of wood. About they're a quarter of an inch on each side, and they're about 2 inches long. Could I make them out in my garage? Yeah, I probably could, but people don't want to see you pulling stuff out of your cabinets that looks like that. Here, bite on this junk. I mean, but you get the picture. $50 for a little, each one of those diamond burrs that we use when we're doing a crown on your tooth, $15, $20 each, and we use several of them every time. These things cost a dental office quite a bit. Today you're going to hear a lot of other things that make our cost of service high. But I think the more pertinent question is, why doesn't dental insurance pay for more of this? Right? Since I've been a dentist, and again, you're going to get sick of hearing this. I got out of dental school in 1986. The maximum amount that dental insurance would pay at that point for somebody was $1,000, which even back then was not a lot of dentistry. All right. Guess what it is today? It's $1,000. Might be $1,500 if you have slightly better insurance. The amount that they pay for any given filling is basically the same as when I got out of dental school 40 years ago. So this situation, I mean, compared to medical insurance, where, you need medical insurance, you go and get a knee done, you'll have your maximum that is specified in your insurance, but it might be $5,000. But, the other $100,000 are totally covered by medical insurance. Dental insurance, in my mind, at this point in history, is a total ripoff. And if you're over 65 or whatever, I basically wouldn't even bother. Just pay out of pocket. The fact that Medicare doesn't cover any dentistry, none. Like, you don't need teeth when you're a senior citizen, and you can just let that go at that point. This has gone on too long. And when you look at the profit and loss statements of a dental insurance company, and the big ones, the Cigna, the Delta Dental, the big ones, they make a ton of money every year. I mean, it's not like this is not profitable for them. They're taking your money and they're not paying for services that you need. So wherein, dentists would love to do everything for you for free, but we would love to hear your opinion on how exactly we would do that with the costs of employing quality helpers and, the rents and even the Trump's little embargoes on things, getting supplies in this, that has raised our overhead quite a bit, and not to mention our wait times for things. A lot of times, can't get this stuff right now. It's on some ship out, and the ship can't move, and God knows when it's going to get here. Not an easy time. Not an easy time for any of us. And today's episode, I hope, will bring you even closer than part one last week to understanding the dental office perspective on this situation. Another point I was just thinking too, I've read several comments on, again, I look at dental videos on YouTube constantly. And the most common thread is, why is dentistry so expensive? And then following very closely to that is, and again, pardon my French here, but why are dentists such pricks about giving you deals on things? I mean, you guys are rough, man. Again, look at it from our situation, and even in my little primitive / wonderful dental practice that I just closed after 40 years, I certainly made every effort to be as fair as I could. And again, I had patients that were with the previous dentist. When I started my practice there in 1987, they were already part of the practice for the previous dentist, and they were with me till the end of my time there. Now these people, if I could help them, they were certainly in a special category. They stayed with me. Here's the point. So many times, I wish I had a nickel for every time I heard this in my 40 years. Come January, everybody's dental plans change. I'd walk through the administrative area. Someone would be there picking up their dental records. They weren't unhappy or anything like that, but they changed dental insurance, and we didn't accept that dental insurance, so they're just going elsewhere. Would that make you feel extremely loyal to that person? I mean, again, I get it. I had children. I remember being young and being strapped, and I do get it. But again, looking at, if you can step back and look at it from the dentist's perspective, these people will go wherever the wind blows them, to keep their dental insurance intact. Well, why don't you accept every dental insurance? Well, because some of them, we're actually losing money doing services for people that have that. So I don't know the guys who are accepting it. I don't know how they're working that it's worth their while to get involved with this certain insurance, because many times it's like, I can't do the procedure for that. I am literally losing money. And again, it's easy when you're not a dentist to say, well, you're rich. You can. How long are you going to stay in business if you're doing business like that? I mean, I'm a horrible businessman. Like I told you before, I gave people 0 interest loans, excuse me, for as long as they needed. Okay, because I knew them, and they were loyal to my practice, and we were above being dentist patient. All right, like I said, I'm very picky in who I call friends. In fact, I have like 2 friends in the whole world, but we were extremely friendly, and we knew each other really, really well, and I made every effort I could to help them out with the cost of the services. I wanted them to get good dentistry, but I still I hate to say, you got to get paid to do, or you're not going to be able to keep the lights on, and nobody's happy about that. Nobody's happy about that. So anyway, the part 2 that's coming up will be a continuation of last time, just going into some other points. And I hope you get a chance to watch. There's no shortage of video explanations of private equity things going on these days, because that is a big part of dentistry, and that is a big part of why things are expensive. I'm going to stop talking now. I mean, God, that video went on for an hour and a half. I thought I was talking for a half an hour. I looked at and it was an hour and a half. I got to figure out how to cut all this down a little bit. But hey, part 2's coming up. I hope you enjoy it, and hope you enjoy the music video afterwards. Please, feel free, again, if you need to contact me, indenturedlongsnapper@gmail.com. Feel free to ask me any questions that you have. We've gotten quite a few, but it's all been stuff that's been covered at this point. But again, don't hesitate. If you have something you want to ask me, please feel free. Indenturedlongsnapper@gmail.com. All right. Okay, well, enjoy the video. I'm going to have a little Irish, and guess I'll see you next Thursday. Love you all. Enjoy your evening. $200,000. Okay. So that's your gross gross amount. Okay, say you are a pretty good dentist in a very nice area, and you're able to generate $200,000 for yourself, even $250,000 for yourself. Specialists generally make more than regular dentists. You can certainly make $300,000 a year or over, but then you're going to take $7,000 a month times 12 is $84,000. And of course, you can take the $1,200 from college times 12 is another 14. So you're getting pretty damn close to $100,000 a year just to pay back your school loans. So that big income certainly gets whittled down to fairly like normal person type money, right? After all that you've gone through to do that, all that studying, all those years of going to school, not being able to earn a full salary, you're doing these little part-time things just for spending money or whatever you can do. So that's your big reward. You come out and you get to work for insurance companies, which dental insurance is not insurance. Medical insurance is insurance. Medical insurance, you can go in and have a big old heart attack, or you can even go in and get a new heart. And, depending on your plan, you might have a deductible of $5,000 or whatever for something that when you ever look at a hospital bill after you get out of the hospital, like I have 2 hip replacements and 1 knee replacement. And I remember looking at the bill for what was probably my second hip was like $180,000. And at that point, I was still on my ex-wife's insurance. So she's a professor in the Pennsylvania higher education system, and they have fabulous insurance. So that literally cost me nothing. But after the divorce, and I have my own health insurance, when I got this last hip done, the maximum that I would ever have out of pocket was $8,000. And that certainly qualified. It cost me $8,000 to get this hip done. So dental insurance is basically a discount plan. It's like a coupon plan. They contract with the dentists, and I did a lot of this type of stuff until my last 5 or 6 years, and then I stopped taking insurance, period. It was wonderful. It was wonderful to just get paid for what you do. But anyway, they contract with the dentist, and they get you to sign on to agree to do procedures at a discount for people who are signed up with them. The benefit to the dentist is, I never advertised a day in my life. Never put, stuff in. Remember the yellow pages? They used to come around every year. It's like, you want to put an ad in the yellow pages? No, thanks. I never advertised, and basically never had to. Where I live, people know. They know. They found you because they asked people in church who they go to if they need, if they need a dentist, and they found you. And to tell you the truth, I don't really know. I think I've said this before. I don't know of a pardon my French, shitty dentist anywhere around my general area. All right, there are no bad reputations. Everybody's evidently doing a good job, and the insurance thing it's brutal. It is when you look at what the normal charge is versus what you're getting paid. It's tough. It's very tough, and this figures into our topic of today too. So, okay, I think you're getting the picture. This young dentist that you're seeing out at a dental practice needs to generate some income. Now, I am not saying in any way, shape, or form that they're doing things that are unwarranted. All right, they're just doing more in an hour than I ever. They could more than likely not believe how I ran my practice. All right, I saw one patient at a time. My hygienist was seeing one patient at a time. She got 1 hour to clean someone's teeth, and for the most part, used that entire hour to do it. And we charged, a reasonable fee for that, and got a fraction of that from insurance. But at that time, at the same time is what I want to say, I'm sitting there seeing my patient. One, I'm not running around to 5 chairs, trying to work. I wanted to enjoy my life, and I did. Right? But this is how I worked. Patient would come in, sit down. Of course, I've known this patient for decades, generally. And we sit down. They know what we're doing. I know what we're doing. We talked about it at length. They are fully informed on everything. They had my phone number. If they needed to call me, they knew what was happening. They were involved and engaged. So when they came in, first thing, unfortunately, is we make them numb. And then I would just sit there with them. Sometimes for 20 minutes, sometimes for 30 minutes. If it's a bottom tooth, sometimes it's hard to get people numb. But after you're a dentist for a while, you kind of figure all the tricks out. But generally by 15 minutes or so, we were ready to go. And then we'd go. And we'd get it done. And at the end, I would explain what to expect when the Novocaine wore off. And, just all the talking that needs to happen to have a problem-free dental experience. Rarely, if ever, did I ever have any problems afterwards because, again, after a while you learn how to do this stuff without getting crazed phone calls that, someone's terribly in pain or whatever. Just do it right, and it generally doesn't happen that way. So, but this, when we were done with that patient, went out, shook hands, sometimes got a hug. Talk to you later. See you next week or 2 weeks from now when my crown comes in. We'll put it in. Blah, blah, blah. See ya. Next person's sitting there already in the waiting room. And they get up. They come back. We sit down. Make that person numb. This was my existence. That's not how dentistry works today. All right. That's not how it works in so many areas. Today, getting back to that private equity thing. Now, again, if you're lucky enough that your dad was a dentist and is still a working dentist and has a practice or multiple practices, one was enough for me. I didn't want another dental practice. One was enough. But some of these guys, they got a practice here, they got a practice there, and when their son gets out of dental school, he's going to take over this practice. Wonderful. Isn't he a lucky boy or a girl? I think there are more girls in dental school these days than boys, by the way, which is, that's, for my generation, that's unbelievable, but that's what it is. So anyway, if you're lucky enough to have a dad that's a dentist and you can go and great, that's not the majority of people, okay? In addition, as we said, that wonderful dad probably paid for all your your dental school and your college and whatever. So you don't have this huge nut that you have to generate every month before you can call any of this money profit. What has come into dentistry recently are these private equity firms. So I said, what they do is they find business entities that are having trouble in one way or another. And the cost of education for dental students is that problem in dentistry. Because, not only is there the cost to set up a dental office today yourself. Like if you got all that debt and you come out and you decide, again, like me, I don't work well with other people. Like I need my own office. If you are unfortunate enough to be like me, the cost of setting up an office, all right, just to build it out. In other words, you go to one of these strip malls and there's one of these slots that are available for you to rent. Just to build it out, $200 to $350 a square foot. That's just to sort of make it look like a dental office, and that includes, putting in the plumbing and the electricity that you would need for your equipment. But then there's the equipment on top of that. Chairs, X-ray machines, you name it, computers, furniture, you get it, the whole 9 yards. You got to equip you got to, put a nice bathroom in it. You got all that stuff. They're saying the cost of outfitting a new dental office is $750,000 to $1.2 million. Are we doing the addition in your head at this point? Okay, so again, before this guy's little drill, we call them dental handpieces, you guys call them the drill. Before that drill spins one time, all right, this cat's got an absolute shitload of money that he's got to come up with from, July 1st to July 31st, because it starts all over again in August. And okay, so most of them realize, boy, I don't think I can get involved with opening my own office. Maybe down the road I'll be able to swing that. But for right now, I'm going to work as an employee. Okay. So there are ways to do that. You can go and be an associate for a dentist that's, maybe getting a little older and he wants some more time off in his life. Maybe he has a practice like mine. He's a solo practitioner and he decides, what, I'm 55 years old. I want to start traveling with my wife. I'm going to hire a young person to come into the practice with me and start. Okay, so there's that. There's the group practice type of thing, which is basically the same. There's a group of dentists that want to hire some young dentists. That can still happen. But what an awful lot of them are doing at this point, I think it's about 30% of it's going like this, all right? It's one of those exponential things, is the private equity involvement in dentistry. Now that is, I'm sure these names will sound familiar to you. That is Heartland Dental, Aspen Dental, around Pittsburgh. Everybody knows Aspen Dental. And unfortunately, everybody has their horror stories about Aspen Dental. Geez, what are the other ones? It's Aspen. Refresh. If there's a Refresh Dental around you, that's exactly what's going on there too. So what that is, those practices are most of them aren't even owned by a dentist. All right, they're owned by what's known as a DSO, dental service organization, I guess, dental service organization. And what that is a group of these rich guys that said, you know what? Healthcare these days is a business. And dentistry these days, the cost of education, has skyrocketed. The big beautiful bill whacked it even harder because they can't get the money to, and all these things added up. So they know these young dentists are up against it. So they get together and they'll go into an area and buy up practices or just start their own little universe there out of the blue. But it seems like Aspen Dental seems to put their place in sort of underprivileged areas. Yeah. But so they'll go in, and what they do is they either build or rent the space, the dental, what you would call the office. They put the sign up, they put the toilet in, they, they outfit the place fully to do dentistry. The good news is for these kids, I would say most of them kind of embrace the technology that's out today for dentists. I don't know if you guys are aware, if you've ever had a cap done in your mouth. The old way, the way Dr. Metis does it. We shave your tooth down at the first appointment, put a temporary cap, make a mold, put a temporary cap on it. You leave, you come back 2 weeks later, we take the temporary cap off, put the permanent cap on, and that's the end of the procedure. Well, there's a way today with what's called a CEREC machine, CEREC. And this machine basically just sits on the counter right over there, and you have a little optical scanner in your hand that instead of doing an impression of the tooth, it takes a digital impression of the tooth, sends it over to this little milling unit. So there's all those little zzz, zzz, zzz things, and you put a little block of porcelain in there, and it zzz, 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 and somewhere, I think it's around 20 minutes to a half an hour or so, it makes your crown while you sit there rather than, and you get your crown same day. In other words, that's the big push there. So that technology exists. The digital X-rays exist. The cone beam CTs, which are wonderful. I mean, I'm always, I won't say fighting, but always in discussions with other dentists on YouTube about just things they're doing that are just not normal accepted dental practice, and nobody cares anymore. They're just like, so what? I'm like, all right. But anyway, so this cone beam thing gives you a 3D picture of whatever you're scanning, your jaw or your upper skull, whatever it's doing. And it's wonderful, for implant placement and stuff like that. And the fact they have the software that will virtually put when I say virtually, I mean it's just the computer doing. They're not doing it to a person, but it'll show you exactly where the implant will go, and you can look, all over this thing and make sure that it's in the right spot and it's not going to pierce any nerves or any other vital structures. I mean, it's a wonderful technology. The machine's expensive, right? And to have that type of thing in your office, you're going to be taking pictures a lot to pay for it. Things that just, I don't need a cone beam for that. I mean, but so all these things, these DSOs are equipping these offices for these kids. They're coming out of dental school and they're working as employees. They go in at, I don't know, probably 9 o'clock in the morning, and they're done at 4 in the afternoon or 5 in the afternoon. And that's it. They go. They don't care what happens overnight. Maybe you do have to take call periodically or something in those offices, but generally speaking, you're just an employee. You're getting a salary, but you're getting your salary, but everything is being tracked by this DSO. It's a business. All right. They know how much Dr. Metis did yesterday, how much income for the practice I generated. They know, and you have a level. And if you're below that level, you get a visit from the manager of that area or that office or whatever, and you have a talk. And he's going to tell you, you got to bump up your production. Do more crowns, do more fillings, do more whatever. All right. Because, you're here. You need to at least be here. And if you want a bonus, you want additional things on top of your salary, we'd like you to be here. Have a nice day. And so this is the game. So, getting back to them hearing, I go in, shake hands with the patient, we tell a few jokes, we laugh and talk about the Steelers and this, that, and the other. They sit down. Eventually, we get to making them numb. All right, we make them numb. We sit there, we bullshit for another 15 minutes. They're like, oh my God, what? They're zooming. They're zooming all day. They're zooming all day, and when they get out of there, they can hardly find their car. They're so exhausted. They're like, so if you go on YouTube, it's really easy to find young people who went through all this expense to be a dentist, who after, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever, name the period, they decide, I can't do this for my whole life. My God, I have to see, 4 patients in an hour, and I just can't work like this forever. And, the hygienist, where my hygienist would get an hour to clean teeth, let me ask the hygienists out there that are listening to this. Do you get a full hour to clean teeth? Actually, if there's nobody scheduled after that, she had every permission to do it. My thing was, I want people leaving this office with clean teeth. I don't care how long it takes you. They leave with clean teeth. Now you go in today. They're for what insurance pays, which at most would be $100, something like that to get your teeth cleaned. Now that's maybe even getting your teeth cleaned with the exam. They might pay you $100. So they're like, well, no, you got to see 4 patients in an hour, not 1 patient in an hour. Right? Now, this brings up the cost of your staff is involved in all this cost that these guys are dealing with. Hygienists these days, hygienists can make well over $100,000 a year if they're in the right office, and they pretty much can make up their own situation. They can say, I want this, I want that, because there's like a shortage of hygienists. And that's really one of the major reasons I closed my practice. Is my hygienist was with me for over 20 years. Wonderful lady, loyal as the day is long, and we're friends. We've been friends. We're still friends. I talk to her fairly regularly. What's today? Monday. I think she's getting her hip done tomorrow. Good luck, Peg. So the cost of employees, a dental assistant, just someone who's not really trained to be a dental assistant, other than you call them like self-trained. We trained them in the office. $25 an hour. Your front desk person, similar, $25 an hour. Your hygienist can be $50, $65 dollars an hour, with paid vacation and all the other little health benefits and all that other stuff you can think about. Oh yeah, hygienists are valuable because they're basically helping to keep the dentist's schedule full. because we really don't have tons of time to do a thorough examination when we're working on a patient. But when you're done getting your teeth cleaned, you come over and sit in the chair, and we come over and check, and then we go back to our patient. That relies heavily on the dental hygienist because, of course, she's all over you. She's around every single tooth, up and down and over and in and under. And she's like, yeah, he's got a broken filling here, and he's got some decay going on down here. And he says when he bites on this tooth over here, it hurts every time that he bites on it, so he's probably getting a crown there. So, they help you get your schedule full. So they're very important persons, not to mention, they do a valuable service cleaning all that crap off your teeth so that we can keep your teeth clean, going back to episode 1, 2, 3 of cavity generation type of thing, so that we can keep your gums and your teeth and everything else healthy. So that's another thing that's going on all the time. A lot of these offices, when you walk into them, like I said, I had a front desk girl, a dental assistant, a hygienist, and me. So there were 4. And for the last, I think since COVID, I worked without an assistant even, all right? So there were just 3 of us. There's front desk, and my hygienist, and me. But some of these offices you go in, those little girls are just, it's like they're running around. Each one has a little, an iPad in their hand, and they're all taking care of this and taking care of that. And then they have a special room where you go in to talk to the insurance specialist there, or one that will tell you about the payment plans that they have. These DSO-run offices are famous for getting involved with these dental credit card things where it's like, God bless them, they'll come out and tell you, you went in just to get your teeth cleaned. You come out with a treatment plan for $15,000, because they discover, we took this cone beam x-ray and we think you have an abscess over here. And you're like, I'm fine. You have these problems, and this is what they do, okay? They're, I'm not saying that every single time it's bullshit. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, whereas I had the advantage of being able to say, you know what, I can watch this. This doesn't look great, but I noticed, on our previous x-rays, it looked exactly like this. It hasn't changed in 2 years. So it could be just the way it looks. It's, I'm not real thrilled that it looks like that, but nothing's changing. You're not having any problems. This, that, and the other thing. I had that benefit where I could do. Now there's no watching, nothing. All right. You go in, if there's anything that they can replace and charge your insurance for it, they're going to do it. They have bills to pay. The young dentist has bills to pay. The DSO wants this practice on paper to look as good as it can, because what DSOs do, they'll get into a business that's been, and they'll put their system in. They'll fire employees, set up other systems in there, get it all fixed up so that it's running pretty well, but they want on paper to look like it's really running well because they want to sell it for a profit. That's what they do. All right? They're not in it for the long term. They're in it to make it look a lot better so they can sell it to someone else and reap the benefits financially from that. These guys aren't, effing around. They're there to make money. They don't care about your dental health, other than, if they get bad reviews on YouTube or what's that other one? Reddit. I've never even looked at Reddit, but I've heard about Reddit. Um, that's not good for business. So I mean, but our local Aspen Dentals, I don't think I've heard a positive comment about the one in Butler, Pennsylvania, since it's been open. It's and another, this is a very important point. I don't know how I missed it till now, but those places, every time you go, it's likely that you're going to see different personnel there, because the dentists either find another opportunity where they can make $2,000 more a year, and they'll just jump ship and go work somewhere else, and then here's Dr. Jones is gone, but here's new Dr. Smith in here, and he doesn't know shit about you. He picks up the chart and he's like, oh, okay, well, and you go from there. There's no, it's a business. I knew my patient. I always told them, I said, if I see you in the supermarket, I may not be able to come up with your name because I have a problem with that. I'm not a perfect guy, and names is not my strong point. But I know exactly what your teeth look like. Like, I know what we did wherever in your mouth. And hopefully I'll be able to come up with your name. It was, I say nothing personal. It's just, I don't know if I get excited or what to see you, but I just don't often come up with it usually does occur to me, but I was in many situations with my ex-wife, and I just used to tell her, I said, you know what? If you see a patient roll up on us, immediately introduce yourself so that I can hear their name. I mean, I feel bad. All my patients out there, I'm sorry. Again, I know who you are. I got a thing with names. I don't know what it is. So am I helping you with why things are so expensive? The young dentists today owe a lot of money. So they need to generate. And these organizations that are buying up dental practices, and they're happy to let them generate. They will give them everything they need to generate. And they will actually inform them that they should be really thorough in generating. So, and that's why costs are going up. The dental laboratory costs, like if you needed a crown in my office, I never had the machine that would sit there and make the crown in the same day. By the way, there's an office right up the road from my dental office in a new plaza, and they get over $3,000 for one of those crowns that they make while you're sitting there. Regular crowns, generally the average costs about $1,000. I mean, I've been doing mine for $850 since I've been retired. I'm kind of retired, up till now, and that's crazy low. Like, nobody does them for that amount. But these are my patients that I've known forever. But yeah, over $3,000 for a crown they make same day while you're sitting there. The treatment plans, that's, again, a lot of stuff that I would formulate and put down as things that, we're keeping an eye on. There's no keeping an eye on anything. It's like, if there's a whisper of a hint that this thing is in need of repair or replacement or whatever, you do it, right? In addition, there is this quest to just remove every silver filling that's ever been done, all right? And there were obviously millions and millions of silver fillings out there. So this let's say early 90s, they started coming out and saying that, silver fillings have mercury in them and they're bad for you and they're causing everything from multiple sclerosis to cancer to, you know, I don't know, sexual problems. I don't know. They're blaming them for everything. So there was this push to just remove everybody's silver fillings. And today, good luck finding a dentist that will even do a silver filling for you. Now, I still have all the stuff in my office, but even for the past 10 or 15 years, I probably have done a handful of silver fillings in that time, but they're just too low fee to do anymore. So everybody does the white, what are known as white fillings. We call them composite resin fillings. They are plastic, right? Now the interesting thing is these people will insist that every silver filling in your mouth be removed and replaced with we'll either go to a crown now or we'll go to a tooth-colored filling, which by and large, soup to nuts for each one is basically about twice what a silver filling used to cost. So there's that little gambit going on. And by the way, silver fillings are indeed 50% mercury. No question, they certainly are. There still is no hard proof that it causes any issues. That filling in your tooth, that mercury is bound in there to the silver molecule. It's not free to go anywhere, all right? If you really want to expose yourself to problems, you take that silver filling out with a high-speed handpiece or drill with the water squirting out of it. It just fills the room up with dust, wet dust from that filling. And there's certainly, you're getting a big old exposure to mercury doing it that way. Whereas if you left it in the tooth, it was fine. So that whole thing is going on, but just in defense, silver fillings are still approved by the American Dental Association, the CDC, all that type of people. Well, you can't even get a silver filling in Europe. It's Europe. They bow to pressure as soon as there's pressure. They don't fight back and say, hey, there's no evidence that these things are harmful. They just say, okay, we won't do it. Well, the tooth-colored fillings, now, personally, I think both are safe as safe goes. I mean, they're not going to hurt you. But they don't last like a silver filling. Silver fillings, I have silver fillings in my mouth that are easily 50 years old. And with my patients, we did not routinely just remove silver fillings. I mean, if they came to the end of their lifespan and broke or got decay around them or whatever, okay, generally we weren't replacing that with another silver filling. At that point, you're generally doing a crown anyway. But so, people were upset about the mercury in silver fillings. Okay, if we were doing our first filling ever in history, chances are today we would not put something in there that has mercury in it. It wouldn't even be on the list, all right? But we've been doing silver fillings since the Civil War. There's still no proof, real proof, that they're hurting anybody. And they last forever, and they're very inexpensive to do. All right, so now we're into the tooth-colored fillings, which all these practices will insist that they do. If you look at the ingredients in a silver filling, there are easily 5 chemicals in those filling materials that are on the hazardous chemical list, that the CDC would put out. So, I hate bullshit. I'm all about, tell me the truth, tell them the truth. Is it that hard for everybody to tell the truth? All right. Um, but that was a big financial thing for dental offices, was replacing all the silver fillings with tooth-colored fillings. You know what? Again, silver filling can last, let's say, easily 30 years. A tooth-colored filling is going to last maybe 10, and then it's going to have to be replaced. Every time you replace it, it gets bigger. Because, like if you're taking cancer out of somebody, you have to take some good stuff so that you got all the bad stuff, right? It's just part of the process. Well, every time you do it, it gets bigger. And all of a sudden, you're pretty short on God-given tooth structure, and then your tooth breaks, and then you're into a crown, and you're into... So the less you have to replace a filling throughout the lifespan of the patient, doesn't that sound like a good thing? I think it sounds like a good thing. But there was just no fighting that whole silver filling thing. I mean, they did such a blitz campaign on that type of thing. I mean, anybody from Reader's Digest, that still exists, Reader's Digest, to you name it. It was all over TV. It's still all over TV. Get rid of the silver fillings. And now it's like, oh, it's a big thing. You can't even just grind the silver filling out of there with the big suction, the sucking all the, sucking. No, that's not good enough. You have to go put spacesuits on and get, I'm like, please. So this is another way that they're going to take your money these days. I mean, can I say that's total bullshit? No, it's being extremely safe. Again, I worked with silver fillings my entire dental career. Now, I'm a little weird, but I don't have any twitches or tremors or any of these afflictions that they equate to it. And who has gotten more exposure to silver fillings than me and guys like me, guys and girls like me? Dental school, that's all we did was silver fillings. Man, we were swimming in that stuff. My first 15 years of dental practice, I'm doing silver fillings every day, big ones, and they're still in people's mouths. They look like the day I did them. So all this stuff together, dentistry has just come together to have a set protocol now of how to do things. And the cost is meant to cover that nut. All right? And everybody's got their own nut that they're carrying around, not to get sexual here, mini-me, but to these young guys. And so what's the solution? Okay? Is it any better if you go to an older dentist? Well, my generation of dentists, there ain't many of us anymore, all right? On my dental office, it has my name. I'll show you the picture up here, okay? Yeah, that's my dental office. Not Dr. Metis and Associates, not Valencia Dental Care, no, it's my name, all right? That's getting really rare anymore. When my generation cuts out totally, you're at the mercy. Like I said, I would take payments on things. There were nothing signed or anything like that. There was no contract. There was no nothing, because I knew these people. We were friendly. I wouldn't say we're friends. We were friendly, and I don't remember, again, getting stiffed the entire time. Now that there would be no way. If you go in and say, oh, geez, Doc, that's going to be $3,000 for that crown. Can we barter for that? I'll plow your snow and cut your grass for 3 years for free for that? They'd be like, no, it's $3,000. Go see Margaret over there, and she'll tell you how you can pay for it. Now, how can you pay for it? They have these dental credit cards, right, with ridiculous interest rates. And I just saw something on the internet last night about this person that was at Aspen Dental, and they signed up for the care credit thing. And they didn't even have the service performed yet. It was scheduled, but it wasn't performed yet. They went home and they got an email with a cost analysis on it, and they had already charged them 29% interest. They haven't even done the procedure yet. They've already put it on there, the same day as they signed up to do the procedure. So, the business practices these days, you can't blame dentists. I don't want this channel to be one that is directed towards, dental scams and all dental. No, this is just the reality of being a dentist today. Do we need dentists? Yeah. Yeah, you do. You do. What are you going to do? You ever had a toothache? Not much happens if you have a toothache until you take care of your toothache. Not much happens other than the focus on that pain. Let's face it, there's the whole aesthetic dentistry craze that's still out there. I mean, heaven forbid these young kids, don't look like movie stars or whatever. It's an industry that has to stay because you can't do without it. I don't know what the solution is to bring costs down other than this. Do you know what I'm going to say? Yeah, you do. All right. If you take care of your teeth, all right, if you do, like from the episodes 1, 2, 3, the 3 parts of episode 2 there, I told you exactly how to never have another cavity. So that's a big part of it. Don't eat ridiculous things. I mean, God, the stuff that people break their teeth on, I'm like, well, raise your hand if you're surprised you broke a tooth on peanut brittle. Jesus, this stuff's like eating glass. Let's focus a little bit. You can help yourself out quite a bit. But the major thing is keeping your teeth clean. 99% of things I did to people or for people and got paid for it were preventable. 99's too high because teeth break. I get it. I've broken a few myself. Teeth break. The wisdom teeth, kids need wisdom teeth out. But if you keep your teeth really clean, you're not going to get gum disease. You're not going to get cavities. And you'll get to keep a lot more of your money. I don't know what to say because this has just been a thing my entire career. And probably, dentists in general, we just shake our heads because we can tell you exactly how to never get another cavity. And your dental bills will just be getting your teeth clean once a year. Go in, she cleans your teeth. Okay, at most, in an expensive office with the x-rays and everything, $250 or something, okay. There wouldn't have been nowhere near that in my office. But the means for decreasing, what dentistry costs you is right here in your little coconut. Now, if you are a person that's just in trouble and you need all your teeth out and you're going to go get this, they call it all on 4 or 3 on 6. What it is implant replacement of all of your teeth. So, in the top arch and the bottom arch, they can put 4 implants in there and screw this rack of teeth to it. What can I say? I have my problems with the procedure, but the end results can certainly be beautiful, and people are reasonably happy with it, except, $60,000. I've heard $80,000. Some places $50,000. Now you can go to Mexico and probably get it done for $13,000, but it's Mexico. You're on your own. I don't know what's going to happen to you down there. But those things are just ridiculously expensive, and we're going to talk about why. But to just get a regular denture, and Aspen Dental's major focus is dentures. They will take all of your teeth out and get dentures in there for you. And they have like 8 different types of dentures, from the economy up to and I don't know how many, what can possibly make 8 different levels of denture for somebody. But, that's basically what they do. And for all the dentures I've made in my life, I don't know how you ever get used to that and can go through life and feel good about eating. And hey, sometimes humans amaze me on their way to deal with adversity. Because, man, chewing with plastic teeth, all right, now these all on 4s and 3-on-6 cases, I would say, they don't move around in there. They're solid as a rock. You can chew whatever you want. When you smile, they look pretty. In fact, most times too pretty. It's like you get this a guy my age with just, beautiful white teeth. It's like, going all Joe Biden on me there, but it is what it is again. So, all right. Well, I'm sure again I've talked way too much. Oh yeah, I've been trying to cut these down because I don't like cutting things into 2 or 3 pieces, and I don't want to just go through the video and make those little jump cuts to cut out every time I say or and every 5 seconds there's these cuts in the video that I just don't like that. You see all my moles and scars and everything, and that's the way it is. I much prefer it that way. So we're going to end that at this point. So I just wanted to give you some of the reasons why the cost of things is what it is. These people have a lot of money to pay back. Dental education at this point is ridiculously expensive. And a lot of kids are rethinking what they got into, because what they earn compared to what it cost them to get to that level. It's like, well, I hope you love what you do, because, it's going to be awful hard to pay for it. And now, after that 10-year period, if you can make it that long and you're not all burned out from all the dentistry you had to do, and you can go find a private practice to get into or start your own practice, that's great. But again, that's a huge expense. You got done with one huge expense. Now you're going to open your own dental office for $1.2 million, or I don't know what to say. I'm fortunate for what I had and the way my life went, and I'm happy about it. But these people that are just desperate to generate income get second opinions. Just get second opinions. You'll feel better about doing it if the second person says the same thing as the first person. Well, you probably need what they're talking about, Otherwise, use your common sense. Use your common sense. I know there's still some common sense out there. Very few dentists are actually unscrupulous. But in this environment today, that line is getting much finer as to what is needed versus what we're actually going to do to you. Right? So need is a very subjective thing. So in any event, I enjoyed talking to you. It's time for a little Irish. I'm going to take my leave. I will see you again next Thursday. I haven't really decided what we're going to do yet. But just want you to know, I'm still a retired dentist. Go floss yourself. Not that hard. Love y'all. See ya. Never known a girl like you before. Just like in the songs from the days of yore. Here you come a knocking, knocking on my door. And I've never met a girl like you before. Gave me just a taste, so I want more. Now my hands are bleeding and my knees are raw. Now you got me crawling, crawling on the floor. And I've never known a girl like you before. Made me acknowledge the devil in me. Hope to God I'm talking metaphorically. Hope that I'm talking allegorically. Know that I'm talking by the way I feel. And I've never known a girl like you before. Never, 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 never known a girl like you before. To the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right. This old town's changed so much. Don't feel that I belong. Too many protest singers, not enough protest songs. And now you've come along. Yes, you've come along. And I've never met a girl like you before. It's alright, yeah, 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 it's alright, yeah.